Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are, living the dream here in the DMV area with almost 100-degree temps. I hope everyone is staying indoors, drinking plenty of water, and staying nice and cool. And we're going to get started with today's presentation. But first, a few housekeeping tips and reminders. If you have questions, type them in the chat or the Q&A window at any time. For everything else, give us a call or email us at sales@tristaterestores.com. We're recording, and links to view the video will be shared with everyone tomorrow morning through Zoom. You can also visit our YouTube channel at Tri-State Restores for a complete archive. I also encourage you to check out our YouTube channel because we have a lot of other fun things going on there. We also have Mr. Deon Gray's quick minute series on how to protect your property. So these are all great educational tools. We hope you take advantage of them. 10 lucky attendees today will get a $5 Starbucks gift card. Stay to the end and find out how. After the coffee break, please complete the post-event survey and let us know what topics you'd like us to cover in our next one. We'll be back the last Wednesday of the month in August on August 27th. And stay to the end. One lucky attendee will get a $50 Starbucks gift card. So who we are, for anybody who is new on the call, we are a family-owned, locally operated and established firm. Tri-State Restorations is an independent commercial residential disaster recovery firm based in the DC metropolitan area. We cover Maryland, DC, and Northern Virginia. We specialize in mitigation, remediation, removal, cleanup, and restoration efforts of large and small water, fire, mold, biohazard, lead, and odor-caused damages. Our company's mission is turning disaster into peace of mind because we're committed to easing the burden of handling your property disaster through providing you with the best customer experience and services possible. Again, this is just our suite of services: water mitigation, restoration, mold remediation, and lead abatement. This is our topic today: mold remediation, fire and smoke restoration and odor control, biohazard and trauma disinfection, and sewage mitigation and cleanup. We're an ICRC certified firm, EPA lead safe certified firm, IQA smart mold firm, and we're 5-star rated across all the sites that matter. Check us out on Google. We have some great reviews. All of our employees are infectious disease and water restoration technician certified. We also have 2 EPA licensed asbestos inspectors on staff. And we belong to all of these wonderful organizations down here. I'm going to highlight a few. We are part of the Property Management Association. We're members of 2 chapters of the Community Associations Institute and AOBA.
Hey guys, Mark Wilson.
Oops.
Hey guys,
back here and press pause on that. So I want to call this out before we get started with today's presentation because I have some extremely exciting news to share with everybody. Our owner, Mark Wilson, is going to be on ABC7's Good Morning Washington this Friday at 10 a.m. Please check it out. He talks about, the whys behind developing Tri-State Restorations, what we do for the community, what turning disaster into peace of mind really means for him and his wife, Tara, and why they decided to build this company into what it is today. So without further ado, I'll let Mark talk.
Wilson here, Tri-State Restorations. Catch me live next Friday, ABC7, Good Morning Washington, and learn how we turn disaster into peace of mind. See ya.
So please check it out. Report back. Let me know if you liked it, loved it. Please share it. We're just super, super excited about this opportunity, and we can't wait to share everything about turning disaster into peace of mind with the DC area. So now let's get into it. I'm actually going to turn things over to my special guest speaker, Mr. Deon Gray, who's with me. Deon is a jack of all trades. He's a bit of a plumbing expert, HVAC expert, water remediation expert, and now also mold. So he's going to walk us through from first signs to final clearance, how Tri-State Restorations handles mold remediation. All right, Deon, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm super excited to be in front of you guys today. We're going to have a little fun. So please utilize that chat with any questions. We'll stop and get them answered for you. Alrighty, what is microbial growth in mold? Microbial growth is generally termed for harmful microorganisms, including mold, yeast, and bacteria. Molds are fungi that can be found both indoors and outdoors. No one knows just how many species of fungi exist, but estimates ranges from tens of thousands to several hundreds of thousands or more. Just like living things, water is essential to the life of microbes. Mold grows best in warm, damp, and humid conditions and spreads and reproduces by making spores. Most spores can survive harsh environments conditions such as dry conditions that do not support normal mold growth. Are all molds bad? Now, this is funny because most people, like, when they hear the word mold, they're like, I don't want nothing to do with it, right? So, no, molds are usually the manufactured products we regularly consume. While some molds are beneficial, it's crucial to distinguish between good and bad molds, as some molds can be harmful or even toxic. For example, you got cheese production. Certain molds like penicillium,
Rock 40.
Rock 40,
There you go.
blue cheese, which we know I hate, penicillium,
Camembert.
Canterbury. Excuse me, guys, because like I said, a lot of this stuff I don't even mess with.
These are tough names, guys. We're gonna butcher it, but we're gonna get
Absolutely.
through it.
So these are essential for flavors and textures of various cheeses. If you're a cheesehead like me, go Packers. If it's not pepper jack cheese, I'm not going to eat it. All right. So medicine, the mold penicillin is source of penicillin and widely used antibiotic. Food and beverage fermentation. Molds play a role in the fermentation of various foods and beverages, including beer, wine, soy sauce, and tepi. And I know some of you guys drink beer, so that's a little heads up right there. Natural decomposition. Molds are naturally decomposers, helping to break down dead organic matter in the environment.
So not all molds are bad and not all are good, but there are some really good ones that we all enjoy on a daily basis. Paul says go Packers.
Oh, I like that. Paul, you're my man. Alrighty. So I'm gonna butcher all these names. I'm gonna let you guys know that right now. So like I said, we're gonna have fun today, right? What are some common indoor molds? Okay, I believe that is Cladosporum.
Good
Cladosporum is a genus of a fungi, including some of the most common indoor and outdoor molds. Some species are
End of fights.
endophytes or plant pathogens, while others parasites fungi. All right, Stachybotrys.
Stachybotrys.
All right, same thing.
I hope.
Okay. It's a it's a genus of molds.
We're good.
Yeah.
Let's breeze through it.
Yeah. Asexual reproducing Fematoris fungi now placed in the family. The genus was erected by August Carl Joseph in 1837. That's way before my time. All right. Aspergillus.
Yep.
Consisting of several hundred mold species found in various climates worldwide. It was found in 1729 by the Italian priest and biologist Pier Antonio Michel. We got Italian name for sure. Alternera. Okay, Alternera is a genus of. Is that?
I have no idea. Deuteromycetes.
Yeah, it's a fungi. All species are known as a major plant pathogen. There are also common allergens in human growing indoors and causing hay fever, hypersensitivity reactions that some lead to asthma.
So this last one here, we're including this. This is very common. This happens, during spring and fall seasons. Everybody knows what hay fever is. Everybody understands there's allergens. Plants are either in birth or they're in death, and that affects us as humans as an allergen.
Ha! Common red flags. Okay, leaks. Water leaks from roofs, pipes, or windows and can create damp conditions. Flooding. Flooding events can saturate building materials and lead to widespread mold growth. Poor ventilation. Stagnant air with extremely high humidity provides a breeding ground for mold. Condensation. This is a big thing. Moisture from activities like showering, cooking, or dry clothes can accumulate on surfaces and form mold. So when you're taking a shower, make sure you have that exhaust fan on. A lot of people don't think about that. They think like, okay, if I use the bathroom, I'll turn the exhaust fan on. No, that's not why it's there. You can use it to shower as well. Damp baseboards. Baseboards with poor drainage or waterproofing can become damp and moldy. Wet wood, wood exposure to moisture, such as leaks or spills, can cause it as well. And like again, high humidity, indoor humidity levels above 50% can encourage mold growth. How to prevent a microbial growth outbreak. Now, if you're like my grandparents and like the house to be at 85 degrees for no reason, don't be like them, okay? Keep your indoor humidity below 60%. Ideal is between 30 to 50%. Keep your internal temperature between 68 degrees and 78 degrees. Repair leaky pipes and faucet immediately. That's another big thing. If your house is warm and you have leaky pipes, all it's going to take is 24 hours for that microbial to grow. And then next thing you know, it's going to be bad for you to inhale, which we will get to that in our later slides. Turn on exhaust fans when bathing and cooking. Clean out the gutters, which I know y'all don't. And make sure water drains are literally towards the from your home. Like make sure they're pointing away from your home.
Right. Like if we all remember, there's a lot of coffee break veterans on here. When it rains is a great opportunity for you to check the foundation and grounding of your property. Go outside. You want to look for water migrating away from the foundation of your property, away from any standing structures. If you see water like pooling up in any areas around the foundation or structure, that's a red flag that you may need to get a landscaper out or a plumber out to help you with, maybe a drainage system or some proper grading to ensure that the water is traveling safely away from the property.
Mold versus your property. When mold grows on a property's internal structure components, studs, frame it can eventually cause a structure to crumble. Mold will eat away at building materials, insulation, carpeting, and paper backing, and quickly break it down into organic matter. It's very important to safely remediate and remove mold when found. However, if you suspect you have mold or microbial issues within your property, but cannot physically see signs of infestation, having air quality tests done by a professional like us, Tri-State Restorations, can help provide that peace of mind. Here's an example of what happens when disasters are not taken care of immediately. Look at that.
Check this out, guys. This is a real life job site we just wrapped up. Just look at the extensive microbial growth on this door here.
It almost looks fake.
It does. It really does. Anyone want to guess where this is?
I'm gonna give you guys 15 seconds. Please post on that chat because you guys won't believe, especially the Maryland. The Maryland people might see it. If we got some Virginia people, maybe not, but some of you Marylanders want to.
Annapolis, that's a great guess.
Okay.
Annapolis has a whole lot of mold issues. CDC, David.
Lake Forest Mall. Check out this video. This is me and one of my colleagues, Eric, as we were walking in with no lights. They had no power. And you can see the microbial visibly on every single corner that we walked through. Look at that.
Every single surface.
It's just amazing. For me to see something like this, I thought I was in a horror movie. I just couldn't believe. Look at that right side of that wall. It's just microbial growth everywhere.
It's incredible.
Would you guys walk this hallway by yourself at night? By yourself?
Totally not. That was a quick no, Mallory. Amy, yep. Heck no, I'm with you. This is the stuff that horror movies are made of. But it has to be taken care of. This is an environmental concern. So, little sneak preview. I'm not sure if we're allowed to even share this, but Lake Forest Mall is about to completely be overhauled and turned into a new fun project, very similar to Pike and Rose, if anybody's familiar with, Montgomery County area. So we're here to help manage the environmental concerns so that they can turn the property into something usable and wonderful again.
That's just gross.
It looks like The Last of Us. It really does, right, Jacqueline? It's so creepy.
Oh, Jacqueline, we're gonna be best friends because that's my show right there. That's a good show.
So,
All right, how do we approach a job site like this? Initial assessment and inspection, which is extremely important. The purpose of this visit is to identify the extent of the microbial growth contamination and develop a roadmap to recovery. Certified technicians inspect visible mold and hidden moisture areas using moisture meters, infrared cameras, and sometimes borescopes. Air and surface sampling may be conducted if mold is suspected but not visible, because a lot of times mold you can't see. Documentation includes photos, moisture reading, and a scope of the affected area. What if visible mold isn't present? Ha! That's a good question. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. Air sampling is a method we use to collect airborne mold spores to assess indoor air quality and determine if mold contamination exists. Even when no visible growth is present, it helps evaluate whether remediation is necessary or if the job was successful. More about this is on the future slide. UV lights highlight suspected mold growth. It can reveal previous water intrusions. So you're probably like, okay, well, UV light, how do I buy it? How does it work? Well, turn off all the lights in a darkened room, shine the UV flashlight across suspected areas slowly, and then they will show up. Indoor mold can cause irreversible damage to fabric, upholstery, wood, and other building materials too. Emphasizing safety and control. Negative air containment. You might have seen some of this containment in areas, but this is where we could just hold everything in one room, okay? Negative air containment, also known as negative pressure containment, is crucial engineering control designed to safeguard people and environments from airborne hazards. By creating a precisely controlled lower air pressure inside of a sealed area compared to surrounding spaces. Negative air containment ensures that air flows inward, effectively trapping and isolating airborne particles, pathogens, dust, fumes, or contaminant within the designated containment zone. Physical barriers like 6 mil plastic sheeting are used to isolate the area. Negative air machines, like air scrubbers with HEPA filters, create negative pressure. Hard containment chambers may be used for high-risk areas. Air filtration. Purpose. So you guys may have seen these at a job site or in general. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. And so what these are, the purpose, capture airborne mold spores and hazardous particulates. Sorry. Fun fact, we're also use these during all demolition projects to ensure a safety air quality index, right? HEPA air scrubbers or negative air machines are run continuously throughout remediation. Filters are monitored and replaced as needed based on contamination levels and duration. All right, removal of contaminated materials. Gloves, people, got to use gloves. All right. Purpose: remove porous mold infested materials that cannot be restored. These are considered unsalvageable. Drywall, insulation, carpeting, ceiling tiles, and other porous materials that are affected are double bagged and properly disposed. Removal follows strict IICRC S520 standard guidelines to avoid releasing spores or harmful particulates into unaffected areas.
So as you can see in this picture on the left, I'm just going to highlight, this is one of our lead techs and our mold supervisor, Daniel. And you can see he's in a full suit, full Tyvek, full respirator with filters. We're putting the trash into bags, double bagging it in a very special method. There is a method behind this to ensure that no particulates escape. And we're doing this in the negative air chamber. We're not ever taking anything outside of this environment until we know for sure that it's not going to introduce anything harmful to an unaffected area. What does the properly disposed include? What do the bags go? So when we're doing this, there's lots of different types of dumping sites. There are some that are specific to environmental hazard debris. So our company utilizes those sites based on, geographical location for where the job site is.
Have a sandwich. How many of y'all are going to try this sandwich? All right. I mean, we give you $200. You're going to bite into that? All right. So what is HEPA sandwich? I'm going to show you. Not this one, though. HEPA sandwich surface cleaning and mold removal. The term HEPA sandwich is commonly used in the restoration and mold remediation industry to describe a three-step process for cleaning and removing mold from structural surfaces, especially semi-porous materials like wood framing, right? It involves using HEPA vacuuming before and after damp wiping and heavy cleaning with an antimicrobial and biocide chemical agent. This process is repeated as necessary until all suspects or microbial growth have been removed from the surface of the building material. Depending on the severity, we may need to also use wire brushes or sanding tools to help remove caked on and built up microbial growth. Check out this picture.
Oh, whoops.
Oh,
It's actually this, sorry.
okay. So let's talk about a little bit about wire brushing. Okay. Wire brushing and sanding. Using wire brushes and sanding equipment is a key step in the mechanical removal of mold from semi-porous and solid structural materials such as wood framing, roof sheathing, and subflooring. This process is especially critical for post-demolition mold remediation when removing embed mold growth from surface that cannot simply be discarded.
So here's a couple of examples. This is wood framing. This is a basement, and then this is the ceiling cavity above. Obviously, we can't remove the framing of the home, so we need to restore it. Same thing with this. These are cinder blocks with substantial mold growth. We're actually using wire brushes and sanding. This is what this technician is doing right here to physically remove it from the surface of the wall. And I'm going to take a step back here. We inserted this slide in here just to remind everybody that bleach is not an EPA recommended chemical for mold removal. Why? Because it doesn't work. Mold and mildew are both fungi, so are mushrooms. While bleach is great at helping clean up mildew-covered bathroom, it is not recommended choice for assisting with your property's mold remediation efforts. Bleach does not remove dead mold spores, which can become food for new spores, and bleach does not kill mold on porous surfaces such as textiles or wood, because mold spreads its roots deep into these surfaces. Remember that it's a living organism.
All right, post-remediation, PRV, testing, inspection, and clearance. Purpose: ensure all visible mold has been properly removed. Conducted by a third-party industrial hygienist or environmental consultant. Air and surface samples are collected for lab analysis. Post-remediation, an industrial hygienist should visit the property to provide clearance testing. Clearance testing is a critical step performed after a project to ensure that the addressed issue has been effectively resolved and that the environment is safe for re-entry or continued use. The comprehensive evaluation includes a series of inspections and tests designed to provide unbiased verifications that work performed meets established standards and eliminates potential health hazards or further problems. Again, remember how we were talking about that backlight? There's a perfect example. Backlight or UV tools may be used to check for residue contamination. Further removal or cleaning is ordered if any contamination remains.
And I want to put out, this is a very typical process, right? We work with these industrial hygienists, and they're all third party, they're all non-biased, to verify and provide clearance for all of our job sites. At the end of the day, our company's mission is turning disaster into peace of mind. We want to make sure that that disaster is 100% taken care of effectively before we release a property back to its owner.
So I want to give you guys an example about this UV light. I don't know how it works. I don't know if you guys have ever been like with your kids or just in fun in general, laser tag. They have UV lights inside. So if you notice, you can see everything on your shirt. Like if you spilled something, kind of like this is pretty much what that UV light is pretty much does. Shows
Right.
up because you
It shows like all the dust particles,
Exactly.
everything,
Because
everything glows.
exactly because when you go to places like that, it's extremely dark inside. So that's why they have the UV lights in there.
That's a really good point.
Property release, final documentation, and customer walkthrough. Purpose: provide peace of mind and close the loop. Deliverable includes a remediation report, lab results, before and after photos, and drying logs. A walkthrough ensures the customer understands that was done and that the area is safe.
And this is just a nice example. This fireplace exterior wall, when we started the remediation process, was a solid black. It was completely affected. It was a very, very long growth process for the mold. So it had been there for several years prior to us coming out and helping with the remediation. And these studs up here in this framing, it almost looks like new construction now. So this is just a really good example of the after.
Ooh, look at this. What does the EPA recommend? Prioritize moisture control. The EPA emphasizes that the key to preventing and controlling mold is to address the moisture issue that caused it. Pro tip: installing a permanent dehumidifier will help access humidity problems. Now, I want to circle this because, again, I was mentioning about my grandparents, since they like to live in lava, okay, and they have a basement, I have a dehumidifier down there, okay? It's one of those you could buy like Home Depot. Once it fills up with water, you just dump it, or you could use a condensate pump, pump the water out, and you never have to worry about it. That's extremely important because a lot of times underground basements, they hold a lot of moisture. And to get that moisture out, this is perfect. So again, I highly recommend if you guys are in a basement that doesn't get that much air, use one of these.
Yeah, any musty smell, any kind of dampness, or just high humidity. If you walk down to your basement and the air just feels thicker than the rest of the home, or maybe your, HVAC isn't pushing cold air down there. There's a lot of different reasons for needing it, but ventilation and an installed dehumidifier really does help just control the humidity levels to ensure your safety.
Yeah, and if you guys are just have any questions again about this, like feel free to write in the chat. Like I said, especially with these dehumidifiers, they're more important than what people realize, and I feel like it's one of the forgotten concepts.
Okay.
All right, so ventilation. If you choose to use disinfectants or biocides, ensure that the area is very well ventilated. Exhausting the air to the outdoors. Ensure moist spaces, bathroom, kitchens have the proper ventilation to prevent excess moisture and humidity. So, for example, I don't know if anyone has ever seen one of these fans here in the bathroom. Well, some people call them fart fans. They have a hose that's supposed to go outside your house. Fun fact is, most people let it vent in the attic, and that's not good. You want it to have it vent outside your house. So if you don't know, you might want to check if you're able to get in your attic.
Yeah, because some of them vent into the home, right?
Yep, they'll vent right in the attic.
And microwaves do the same thing sometimes,
Exactly.
right?
Instead of going outside the home, because people think, well, let me just vent in the attic because I never go in the attic.
And before you know it, your attic crawl space now has a full-blown
Yep.
mold infestation.
Yep. And it's when you least expect it. Looks like we got some questions.
Yeah. So Miss Cindy said, do you recommend damp bread for small moisture areas like bathrooms? It really depends on the bathroom. Do you have a window in the bathroom? Do you all have ventilation already? Windows are great. You're gonna pop a window open before you take your shower. All that humidity and extra moisture is going outside versus inside. But every bathroom, it's recommended to have some kind of a ventilation system. Yep, just get an attic fan. That's a good guy, you're not wrong, Amy. But we have seen, and I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but we see this commonly where these bathroom fans vent into the attic crawl spaces. Even if they do have attic ventilation, the moisture kind of stays there. And, it does cause issues. It's not as severe as if the attic was completely locked out, locked down, and there was no way for that moisture to escape. But it does still cause issues. Attic spaces generally are 20, 30 degrees higher than the rest of the home in summer months. So that plus the excess humidity, it's just a perfect breeding ground for new fuzzy friends to enter your life. How do we know if we have proper ventilation for a bathroom? How much is enough?
All right, so that's a very good question. Depends on the size of your bathroom. A lot of I'm gonna call them fart fans, have a different type of CFM rating, so that goes off the size of your bathroom. Um, Feel free, like I said, after if you want to send me a picture, I can tell you the correct CFM to get for your bathroom. That way, the ventilation is correct for you.
Awesome. So David, check in with Deon after the coffee break, and he can definitely assist you with that.
Tools and chemicals EPA recommend. HEPA vacuums are important for removing mold particles from surfaces. Air scrubbers, which we talked about earlier. HEPA air scrubbers will filter out moisture spores from the air. Moisture meters and flare cameras. Moisture meters help pinpoint damp areas prone to mold growth. EPA registered fungicides and antimicrobial agents. RMR-141 RTU.
Concrobium.
Concromium.
And then you know this one.
Yep, this is what we used. The Benefect Deacon 30. Fiberlock Shockwave Moldstat Plus.
So Benefect Decon 30, I have this one highlighted. This is the all-natural botanical agent that we use on all of our job sites. I harp on this chemical because it's actually a really great product. It is derived from the herb thyme. It doesn't smell like Thanksgiving when you use it. I'll give you that. But it's all natural. It's food safe, people safe, pet safe. You can spray it on a countertop, literally lick the countertop, and no harm will come to you. So it's a beautiful product because it also kills 99.99% of bacteria within a 30-second period of time with that agent being activated on the bacteria.
Awesome. Our stand practice. Very important. Mold and microbial testing, removal and remediation. Air sampling and tape swab samples, contaminant of affected area to limit airborne hazards in unaffected areas. Mold removal and HEPA cleaning, set up for specialized equipment to improve air quality. What we do, right? So you're probably like, well, you tell me this, but what are you going to do about it? Well, we can perform necessary testings and remediate visible affected areas. What we don't do, find the source of the mold issue that is unknown or hidden. We do, however, work with industrial hygienists and can utilize their reporting to successfully mitigate any found mold issues. Indoor air pollution and your health. This is extremely important. Okay. So, how does mold affect you? Common effects including allergic reactions. Now, everybody's body is different, right? So, not all of this is going to be some type of way of like, okay, I'm having an allergic reaction. All right. So,
Right.
nasal stiffness, eye irritation. Me, for example, my eyes will itch. I mean, I will sit there and itch them for 4 hours. Wheezing, skin irritation like itching, fever, shortness of breath, and lung infection/disease.
And then this is probably the most severe. Anybody who's already immune compromised, perhaps asthmatic, going through some kind of a mold outbreak, they're probably going to end up with these lower end of the spectrum effects.
What is an indoor air quality specialist? Indoor air quality specialists like Tri-State Restorations have unique training to diagnose, consult, and remediate common indoor air quality issues. We are a member of the IAQA, Indoor Air Quality Association. Our employees are trained to understand the fundamentals of airborne and particulate toxins and infectious agents, how it affected the indoor air quality of your property and your health. Immediate effects. Like I said, this is important because, like I said, it affects everybody differently, and especially when you have young kids, right? Some health effects may show up shortly after single exposure or repeated exposures to pollutant. These include irritation of eyes, nose, throat, headache, dizziness, and fatigue. Now, the reason why I say that is I was on the job site last week, and the lady was really concerned because she says my daughters continue to have all these headaches in her playroom, and I'm not sure what's causing it. Well, we were able to find out, hey, there was a leak inside of her air duct and it created some microbial growth. Well, her daughter's playroom, where she's always at, she's been inhaling that. So that's why she's been having these undetermined headaches. And we were able to figure that out for her. So again, when you always listen to your body. I know some people don't like going to doctors, but always listen to your body and then make sure you call us your expert. Long-term effects. Other health effects may show up either years after exposure has occurred or only after long or repeated periods of exposure. These effects, which include some respiratory diseases, heart diseases, and cancer, can be found fairly debilitating or fatal. It is prudent to try to improve the indoor air quality in your home, even if symptoms are not noticeable. Alrighty. All right, so check out this graph here. Let's see something.
All right, so we've got different danger levels. So this is an IAQ kind of map. And danger level 1 is common allergens and particulates, dust, mold and fungi, mildew, tobacco smoke, dust, exhaust, pet allergens, stuff like that. The health effects are nose and throat irritation, runny nose, congestion, sneezing. When you get into number 2, that's when the more severe health effects come into play. Where you've got bacterial infections, sinusitis, upper respiratory infections, nose, ear and throat infections, bronchitis, and pneumonia. Danger level number 3, however, is memory lapse, depression, lung dysfunction, blurred vision, headaches, and lethargy. So, indoor air quality is nothing to be messed with. We literally need air to breathe and survive and live, just like water. So making sure that you have clean air in your property is essential to life and survival.
Awesome. Air quality testing. How do I check my air quality? Purchase an indoor air quality monitor. Call TSR to perform air sampling from laboratory results. Install carbon monoxide detectors. Conduct a rating test. Inspect your property for VOCs, lead, and asbestos.
And so this is just showing a graph. And if anybody is a weather person like I am, you see this air quality index now with the weather on a daily basis. Here we're in peak summer season in the DC area. Most of the time it's going to be in the orange and red. It's very hard to breathe right now. The air is very thick. There's a lot of allergens in the air and the humidity is high. So this is just a way for you to kind of quantify what the air quality is.
Indoor air quality meters. Check these out. An indoor air quality meter quickly checks for carbon dioxide concentrations as well as temperature, humidity, dew point, and wet bulb. An air quality monitor is a device that tracks temperature, humidity, particulate matter, PM 2.5 / PM 10,
Formaldehyde.
formaldehyde, HCHO in your space.
So this one here, and I get asked this question a lot. This is from Amazon. This was like 30 bucks, I think. And it's just a nice little device. It's portable, it's battery operated. But it gives you a quick, second glance of how is my indoor air quality right now. Especially for people, like I said, with severe allergenic reactions, anybody who's asthmatic or has any kind of longevity problems with health issues. This is a really cool, useful tool for you to just ensure that the air you're breathing isn't going to affect you in a drastic way.
Air sampling. Air sampling is a process used to determine what airborne contaminants are present in the environment. It is used special instrument to detect contaminants such as gases, vapors, dust, and fibers in the air. Tri-State Restoration uses air sampling methods to detect mold and ACM.
And this is a mold cartridge. Essentially, this device pulls in air from the affected environment and it gets caught in this cartridge. Then this is what's sent to the laboratory for analysis. These cartridges look different. These are actually for asbestos. When asbestos fibers become airborne and aerosolized, that's where the real danger is for asbestos. And these are the cartridges used to test for that.
Other types of mold sampling, surface sampling, to identify mold growing on surfaces like walls or furniture. Furniture is interesting because I think that's one of the last things we think about because, when we get home from a long day, you know, we hit the couch, but it's in the back of our mind, like, oh, okay, it's just a couch, I lay on it, it would never get infected. But you'd be surprised. Just like dust. Dust gets on your couch, but sometimes you can't see it,
Exactly.
right? So swab testing, using a swab to collect mold samples from surfaces. Tape lift, using clear adhesive tape to collect a sample of mold from a surface.
So here are the two examples. This is a swab. So essentially you're putting this little piece of plastic here. This is your surface area that you're testing, this little 2x2 area. And then you're swabbing left and right, and then up and down, and then you're capturing that. It goes into an envelope and it gets sent off to the laboratory. These biotape slide samples, this is called a tape lift. So you're essentially, there's a sticky part on it and you're sticking it to the affected area with the suspect microbial growth. You're capturing some of it on this slide and then it gets covered with the glass and then sent off for laboratory testing. So those are just a couple of other different ways.
Mold testing. 2 tiers of mold inspections.
So this is for Tri-State. This is our protocol.
Okay. Let's see. Mold estimate tier 1, 250. Includes a non-invasive inspection with IICRC mold certified technician. Use of PPE, moisture assessment, hygrometer, partometer, flare infrared camera, borescope, and a written estimate with remediation recommendations. Mold estimate tier 2, 550. Kelly said she's going to buy it. Includes non-invasive inspection with IICRC mold certification technician, use of PPE, flare infrared camera, borescope, tape sample plus 3 air samples outside, unaffected inside, and affected inside. EPA registered lab testing, written estimate with remediation recommendation, additional sampling available for an extra cost.
Okay, so that just gives you an idea as to how we tackle mold estimates when you're giving us a call. If you have visible confirmation, you're going to be at tier 1. If you don't, we're probably going to end up doing air sampling to determine, what types of molds or if there are molds in the environment. All right, now we're going to open it up for questions. I already see Mr. Simon here. He said, "What is the term sanding?" So sanding is literally a sander. Think construction tools. If you're sanding a piece of furniture down to smooth it out and then you're going to repaint it, we're using that same sander on these walls to remove that top layer of affected microbial material off of the hard surface.
Don't be shy, guys.
Right. So let me see and just make sure that I didn't miss anything. Oh my Cindy, I just missed your comment. You said you were in New Orleans after Katrina. That's devastating.
Oh
I
my
was there
gosh.
for the summer after, and it was just devastating. I can't come up with a better word than that without crying, unfortunately. It's like the main area, the basement. So actually a couple of people did ask about Lake Forest and they said, this does look like, the areas of the basement. So the photos that we shared earlier for Lake Forest, this was the security area and the corridors that lead between the stores. So, every retail store has that front facing brick and mortar, but then they have the door in the back that goes into the, sub hallways of the mall. So that was our core remediation area. The entire mall was affected. Every single surface of every single wall in that space is affected. This is a multi-tier part of our process, so we're not sharing any of those photos yet. The actual anchor stores like JCPenney, Lord and Taylor, all of those, because they were operational longer than the rest of the mall, it is not as severe in those anchor stores. But just to give some insight, since we had some curious people. Any other questions? I hate to hold everybody up if we're waiting for our prizes. We can circle back, but feel free to enter them in the chat and we're gonna keep moseying through. So Deon now gets to talk about his special YouTube feature.
All right, so just like Adrian was saying earlier, I have my expertise in both HVAC and plumbing. So a lot of times when disasters happens, I know sometimes we freeze or we just don't know, and that there's no problem with that. I'm your expert. If you ever need help of like, okay, Dion, if a water intrusion happens, where's my shut-off valves? I have no clue which one to turn off, what's hot, what's cold. I have YouTube videos that will show you, and I can also come to your property and show you as well. And like I said, they're very short clips, might be about 30 seconds tops. Um, like I said, I have a heads up update. I try to do it every week just to give you guys a peace of mind of like, okay, there's an expert out there that can actually help me turn these disasters into peace of mind and prevent secondary damages in my home. So I'm here to help.
Exactly. It's always better to be preventative than reactive, right? We'd rather help prevent a disaster than have to respond to one. And I know that sounds funny because we are a business. Obviously, we're a for-profit business, but if you can prevent the small stuff on your own, hopefully that just helps keep your life normal. That's what we're after. We want to help turn disasters into peace of mind, but we want to help prevent them if we can. Oh, awesome, Derry. So is Dion ICRC certified? Yes, he is.
Sure
Thank
am.
you. So every single employee of Tri-State Restorations is ICRC certified, and we all follow the standard ICRC protocol for water mitigation and mold remediation efforts.
So, example, I don't want to give too much of a teaser, but right now the big thing is everyone is running their AC and either their condensate pumps are failing, or they have condensations coming off their
Ductwork.
ductwork and is causing their drywall to become saturated. So a lot of times when you don't have the humidity controlled in your house, that would happen. Your stuff will sweat. And I can show you different ways of how to debunk that as well.
Fantastic. All right, so we're going to keep moving on and closing. And by the way, thank you, Dion. Thank you for providing us with your expertise today. It's always fun to give our audience another voice to listen to and learn from. If you suspect you have a property hazard or require our assistance with water, fire, smoke, lead, or biohazard damages, give us a call. We're available 24/7 to help with your disaster. This is our main number. And I will point out, when you call us, you're going to speak with a live representative from our company. There's no call centers in India or wherever. This is an actual employee that is certified to discuss your disaster with you. So we're all mini experts here, and we will do whatever we can to help restore your life back to normal. Is it possible for the average person to gain the same knowledge around mold remediation? Are there certain certifications one must possess? Thank you, Eric. That is a really, really great point. No, so you do need to possess certifications to perform mold remediation, especially properly, and to ensure that the mold is gone. The whole point of mold remediation is removal, right? The IICRC harps on this. The only 100% guarantee for remediation is removal from its food source and environment. And unfortunately, its food source is your property. I'll let Deon answer if he wants to say anything else.
No, you pretty much said everything. Like I said, Adrian is a perfect person. Like I said, if you have any questions, she's like my right hand. I can't even say right hand man, but right hand
Right
woman.
hand
So
woman.
right hand woman. And like I said, we're here to turn disasters into a peace of mind. And never hesitate to give us a call, even if you're just not sure what something is. We'd rather have to get ahead of the game than be behind.
Right.
So
Oh, that's actually a really good point. I'm going to pivot for a second, guys. We now have a new program called Live Switch. Exactly this scenario. You think you have damages, you're not quite sure whether it warrants having a company come out, you're not quite sure really what you're looking at. We now have the opportunity to do a live triage video call with you. So give us a call if you're interested. We'll tell you all about it. But this is definitely, technology these days, it's improving every day. And this is a new piece of technology that we're incorporating into our onboarding process for our customers. All right, without further ado, we're going to give out some prizes here. Let me do our random number generator and figure out who is winning an excellent caffeinated surprise today. And congratulations, Miss Jacqueline McRae. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Congratulations, girl. You just got a $50 Starbucks card. I will be sending this out to you. It's a digital card. We're going to make sure that this gets sent to you in your inbox. You will hear from me later today. All right. Congrats, girl. I know. I love it. So have some Starbucks on me. Enjoy yourself. Hopefully, it's a nice cold drink to help you survive this DC heat.
hey, Jacqueline, we're gonna split, okay? You get 25.
And for the fun part, chat me one thing you guys learned today for a chance to win a $5 Starbucks gift card. Let's check out what everybody learned today. All right, so keep the indoor humidity between 30 and 50%. Good job, Paul. Bleach does not kill mold. Yes, David, 100% correct. Black light used for clearance inspection. Isn't that cool? It's really, really neat. It's funny because as kids, we all just played with black light because it made everything look cool, but it is actually a very useful tool. As Aspergillus was first cataloged in 1729, and blue cheese probably going to need it. Yeah, Kelly, I'm not a blue cheese fan either. I love cheese, just not blue cheese. Dispose of waste properly, pay recommendations. I'm so glad everybody learned something today. Smart home integrations for AQI and humidity alerts. Checking your air quality is pertinent to good health and less side effects. Air quality meters track temperature, humidity, and particulates. Very, very good job, guys. I'm so happy. Thank you all so much for joining us. Again, here's our information if you need to connect with us. We're here when you need us. We hope you don't need us, but we're here when you do.
Oh, Miss Sheila, congratulations.
Oh my gosh, Sheila, congrats. I bet you crave blue cheese, sushi, and all the things you can't eat right now. That was my first meal, both kids. I was like, I need sushi right now.
Before we get off, if you guys can, I'm curious, because I'm a curious George person. Type in the chat what you keep your temperature at in your home. Now, I know it's 100 degrees
Don't
outside.
throw anybody under the bus right now, sir.
Gotta know.
68,
70, 77. I'll melt.
Amy, don't be offended. He has to have it at 60 degrees or he says he's melting.
Okay.
77, 75. Okay, great. So everybody is at least within the normal ranges. What was it again? Between 60 and 78. Just a reminder.
67.
So Yeah, as long as we're keeping it in that safe range. I live in an apartment with blinds down. Okay, that makes sense, Amy. Totally. I also have a second AC in my room with my house at 68. Yeah, Sheila, you and Dion are gonna get along just fine.
Amy, that's a very good point. When it's hot like that and you want to not overload your AC, yeah, close your blinds, keep them closed, so keep the heat out.
Exactly, exactly. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I hope you had fun. I love it when I get to have guest speakers. We will see you next month, August 27th, the last Wednesday of the month. Stay tuned for the topic announcement. We will get that out to everybody. Thanks again and take care.